Well, welcome back to the Piney Woods Homestead, y'all. Rosie's throwing down on some cold water. Just filled up her tank. They're drinking a lot right now. It's been dry. Guys, thanks for stopping in at the Piney Woods Homestead. Today is going to be a little bit of a show and tell. Kind of show you what we've been doing for the past couple of days. Thanks for stopping in at the Piney Woods, guys. Hit that like and subscribe if you have not. And if you have, y'all, we appreciate you. So I'm going to start off down here in the big in-ground garden. I have been really working myself silly down here the past few days after kind of recovering from those kidney stone issues, and I appreciate all of the suggestions for how to handle those on the walk and talk this past Saturday. Always something new to learn. If I think that I know everything, I never do, so I appreciate those suggestions. Now I'll show you what I got planted first this week. So all of us know by now that I'm not the green thumb in the family, Lisa is, but when it comes to planting corn and beans, I do the majority of that with our little push planter. We've got one of those little, oh, I can't even think of the brand name of it now, just a little push planter that we plant with. And I planted this lowest area in the garden back here. I've got 5 rows, 40 foot long, of ambrosia bicolor sweet corn. And then I think 3 or 4 shorter rows over here and a couple of tired looking scarecrows out here. Lisa's is definitely better than mine. That one has been with us since we started. It's, golly, every bit of 4 or 5 years old now. It was Superman. Now it doesn't quite look the same. He's wore out. I'll turn the camera around and show you what else I've been doing down here in this garden all day today. So after last year's trial run of doing tomatoes on a trellis as well as on cattle panels like we had done for a few years, we decided that the trellis was the way to go. So we have 230 foot long rows here. I came in with the auger on the back of the tractor, straddled my rows and popped 6 holes per row and put some 4x4 posts in there off of the mill. And no treatment whatsoever on the post, just straight up milled grain lumber. Some of them been sitting out for a while, and some of them I'm reusing from last year's trellis. Actually, all of them on one are from last year's trellis. But I spent several hours this morning getting the high tensile steel wire installed on top, and it's not that hard even working by yourself. I had drug off the one that I used last year. I drug it off out of the way and made sure it didn't tangle up on me, and I reinstalled it this morning, and then went up and took down a grapevine row that the vines never produced on it. Matter of fact, they died on one of our grapevines rows. So I took down one of these cam buckles. I can't remember what you call it, a line tensioner, fence wire tensioner, something to that effect, but it works great to be able to tension up that high tensile steel. And she'll hang a thread rope from each plant to the wire, and that's how she keeps the plant upright as it's growing. It just worked really simply last year. I really liked it, and Lisa did too. So we're going to stick with that method from now on. Takes a little bit of time to get the posts in the ground, but they're not, you know, beat in the ground job with a steel rod like a fence line post. They're just loosely packed in there. So with the help of the front end loader on the tractor carrying the post down, it was not that bad. And the auger digging the holes wasn't really that bad. So I'm looking forward to all the tomatoes that'll be on these 2 rows this year. The entire garden obviously is not planted yet, but what I did today, what Lisa trusts me with, are beans and corn. And so I have a 130 foot double row of Blue Lake green beans here. And then there are 3 rows, same length, of October beans. Normally I will double row October beans, but I decided that this year I'm trying to get more yield out of them. They did well last year, but I think it was just so bushy that not enough light or air could get in there on the double rows. Green beans, not so bad, but this is more of a dense plant. And so I've single rowed it. So hopefully the rabbits won't get everything, and maybe we can deter some rabbits too, but hopefully it'll do good. You know, that's a lot of October beans, but we love those things. They can great. They're better than pintos in our opinion, and they're not that hard to harvest. We come in here, we don't pick and let them put on new. We wait until they're mature, pull the plants up, sit under a shade tree, and Lisa does the majority of the shelling, but they open up really easy and pop out easy. A whole lot easier than like a butter bean, a lima, a small lima. So 330-foot rows of October beans. So the way that we plan out a garden is Lisa actually draws it out. So there are 7 rows on this upper section of basically new ground. We worked it last year, but I took out a few stumps from a pine that I took down this year, and there were a couple of poplar stumps left over, so I got those out. So this section right here will be flowers. It's kind of like a triangle piece. And on this first row right here, Lisa planted me 6 spaghetti squash plants that she had up, and I like them, and so I'm hoping that they'll do well. And it's only in the center of the row, so she's going to do something else with the ends of this row. This row is only about 60 feet long, and then beside of it we've got some vacant spots because there's going to be some watermelons. Let's see, and what else? Oh, and a little bit more okra. We're going to put 2 rows of okra on the other side of the tomatoes. But that's the plan for here, are some watermelons and some more okra. Y'all, because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I really love sweet corn, I talked Lisa into letting me plant these 4 upper rows in ambrosia. And the reason we planted the same variety down in the bottom and up here on top of the hill, where historically speaking from gardening it stays more moist on the lower ground, but there's ample sun up here as well now because of the additional tree work that I had done removing trees. And these hills, I actually knocked them down because I like to plant corn pretty much on flat ground, and so I knocked them down with the box blade on the tractor first, and they had held moisture. It was something to open those up and see that even though we haven't had any rain here now in probably 2 weeks, there was still plenty of moisture in here. So we've got 4 rows, and these are about 100-foot rows of ambrosia. On that 4th row, if you remember, I planted, let's see, Kennebecs on one part of it and some russets that we held over from last year. And y'all, they're all coming up now. So they're up maybe about 2 inches down here, those potatoes. But I'm looking forward to corn. I'm hoping that I can keep it going this year without a storm knocking it over. But I've done something a little bit different this year. I have been greedy in the past and put my row spacing too close together, worked it with a wheel hoe trying to heel the corn. They're 48 inches on center now because that's what the tractor will work with the disc tiller because of the width of the tractor and implement. So the corn, every row out here, the row spacing, somebody had asked a while back, and I said, I think it's 38, but I was wrong. It's 48 inches on center. Gives plenty of room in between the rows for the tractor and the disc tiller to come in, for the wheel hoe to go down through and keep weeds out, and for it not to be quite as snaky. Plus, it just gives really good airflow for good pollination, especially on this corn. So hopefully it's going to do well. One more thing about the corn. We planted ambrosia in the bottom and up here on the hill just because there'll be no cross-pollination. It's the same variety of corn, so everything should go well. We love sweet corn. I like putting some up on the cob. It takes up freezer space, but we don't put a ton of it up on the cob. I just like pulling it out. I love corn on the cob slathered in butter and Texas Pete. But we will blanch it, cut it off, and freeze it, or can it most of the time. All right, enough down there. It'll take you up to the raised beds. We'll show off those Ranger chicks. Ain't so much chicks now. They're putting on weight pretty quick. Let's show you some work that I did for a customer this week. I've been milling quite a bit this week, and an update on that Ripper 37 band that my dad brought over. He brought me a case of them. Fantastic blades. Best ones I have run. I can say that now because out of one band, I was able to get a stack of, let's see, I actually milled 4, 5, 6, 67 8.5, 9 foot 2x6s, several 1-inch boards, and of course all the slabs that came off, plenty of stickers back here behind my stack. So before I haven't even changed the band yet. I'm going to now because it was starting to have a little bit of resistance on the last log. But y'all, that's a lot of lumber milled on one band. Better than I have had out of any of them. I believe still right on par with that Lennox. So we'll go over here and show you these chicks. The chicks are 3 weeks old now, I believe, and they are little chunks, eating like crazy. They got released out from their brooder first of this week. Today is Saturday, so I believe it was about yesterday, Lisa's hollering at me, yesterday that we actually turned them out. They're doing great, they're looking great, fantastic. So, and they're putting on weight fast, and that Nutrina plant-based feed that we use, it really puts the weight on them. I'm going to show you a few other things that Lisa's been working on. She has been busy as a little bee. What are you planting right now?
More zinnias for the cut flower bed, and I still have 2 rows to put something in.
Well, it looks great. You have worked yourself silly getting all of that mulch, that dirt put out that I brought home for you. Yeah. And with this netting over it, it should keep Whiskers out of the bed.
Yeah, Whiskers decided that we apparently gave her a great big litter box. I guess because this is shorter. So she did dig up a few of my flowers. So I put this netting over, keeping her out, and it's also given me, I should have actually done it to begin with because it's given me spacing without having to go through with my handy tape measure and
well, that's good.
Measure my spacing.
Lisa, I'll do a full garden tour with you here in a few weeks. She's got a lot of stuff in beds already, as you can probably see behind me. But we'll do a full garden tour in a few weeks. Still got a lot of plants left to put up. She's got lots of tomatoes and peppers, squash, all kinds of stuff ready to go in the big garden. And in a few days, we'll be coming in here side dressing these potatoes. The is it the Kennebecks on the bottom side? Yeah. Kennebecks, 2 rows, red Pontiac, upper rows. They're about ready to side dress with a little granular fertilizer and heal. I'm just out of steam today. I don't feel like going and hooking up the implement. We might do it tomorrow, why not? We'll see, we might do it tomorrow. But it's looking really good. We are tickled with it. It's time to do it because there's some grass coming up. It's time to sling some dirt up on it. Y'all, that's gonna wrap it up for today's short little show and tell video of what's going on. Hadn't filmed much in a couple of days just because of the kidney mess and then working ourselves silly out here. And a lot of it is our videos that you guys have already seen from last year when we did the tomato trellising and stuff like that. But Lisa will probably talk a little bit more to you in depth as to why she decided she wanted that trellis system this year versus what I told you. But guys, we hope that you have a good day, a great week, and Lord willing, and the creek don't rise too high, we will see you on the next one.